So what's up guys, how you doing? I'm just gonna clean the engine of this car with this product. This is Liqui Moly engine cleaner. Let's test this product and let's see inside the engine before and after of using this product. I just fill up the tank and I'm gonna use this to see if it does work or not. I'm conducting this test on my 2007 Toyota Yaris, and before you say that's just an old economy car, hear me out. This car has a 1K RFE 1-liter 3-cylinder engine producing 68 horsepower and 92 Nm of torque. It has 227,568 kilometers or around 140,000 miles on the odometer and runs almost exclusively in city conditions. This is actually the perfect test vehicle because city driving creates ideal conditions for carbon buildup. Lots of stop and go traffic, short trips where the engine doesn't fully warm up, and lower RPM operation that doesn't naturally clean the combustion chambers. Now there are two important things I want to mention before we dive into the video. First, later in this video I'm gonna show you one of the main reasons for excessive oil consumption in engines, and I'll demonstrate exactly what causes this problem using real evidence from inside this engine. Second, while I have everything disassembled for this test, I'll also be cleaning and replacing several other engine components. I'll show you each procedure and tell you exactly what these parts cost. So I opened the engine plastic cover and spark plugs, so let's check inside each cylinder. Let me walk you through what we are looking at here. This is the first cylinder and you can see there is carbon buildup on piston crown, which is totally normal for this mileage. But look at the top right corner. See that brownish discoloration? You might think it's corrosion, but here is the thing. The cylinders and pistons in this car are made of aluminum, so it's actually not corrosion at all. Maybe it's some kind of rot. We've also got another obvious brownish circle right in the middle there. Now if we look deeper at the right side of the cylinder wall, you can see a few scuffs and scratches. But when we check the other side, there are even fewer marks and it looks pretty okay overall. We'll compare each cylinder after using the product to see if there are any changes. Let's move on to the second cylinder. Again, we are seeing a significant carbon buildup on piston. It's a quite thick layer actually. Look at the left side of the piston. There is this brown, thin layer of carbon. The good news is there aren't any specific scuffs and scratches on the cylinder wall here. On the other side of the piston, there is a brighter or thinner layer of carbon buildup as well, and no scuffs on that cylinder either. Overall, the carbon buildup is distributed much more evenly than what we saw in the first cylinder. Now let's look at the last cylinder, and honestly, the story here is totally different. To my eyes, you can see the piston crown surface is cleaner overall. There is just a thin layer of carbon on the surface except for the left side, and of course there is that brown circle in the middle as well. But here is the most important thing for this cylinder, and a little bit for the first cylinder too. Look at these scuffs and scratches on the both sides of the cylinder walls. Look at the left side. See those scuffs? Now let's check the right side. Do you see those deep scratches? This situation is actually one of the main reasons for excessive oil consumption in engines. And I have to be honest with you, the cause of this problem was me, because I extended the oil change intervals. Instead of changing the oil every 5,000 kilometers or around 3,000 miles like I should have, I trusted the Toyota dealership's recommendation and changed the oil every 10,000 kilometers or 6,200 miles. And here you can see inside the engine what that mistake actually looks like. Here's what happens. When you extend the oil change interval, piston rings have a critical job. They must seal the combustion chamber while lubricating the cylinder walls so the piston can move smoothly up and down. When oil becomes dirty or loses its lubricating properties, these rings can't do their job properly. Contaminated or degraded oil means the piston rings start scraping against the cylinder walls instead of gliding smoothly. This creates the scuff and scoring you see here, which leads to oil burning, reduced compression, and eventually complete engine failure. As you saw, this is a small, inexpensive economy car, so the repair cost might not be worth it. But imagine this happening to a luxury car or any expensive vehicle. You're looking thousands in repair cost or potentially scrapping the entire engine or the whole car. Here is a quick tip. If you don't have a borescope to look inside your engine, you can diagnose this problem by examining your spark plugs. Oil folded plugs with that brown sandy-like coating on top of the spark plug indicate oil burning inside the cylinder chamber. And the main reasons for that are: number 1, the scuffs and scratches on the cylinder walls; number 2, overfilling the engine oil; and number 3, leaking oil from valve seals inside the engine. This is why oil changes aren't optional maintenance, they are engine insurance. The few dollars you save by extending oil change intervals can cost you thousands later. Alright guys, we are back. I drove this car for a few days, to be exact 310 miles or 500 kilometers inside the city, and I'm so excited to see inside the engine and to see does this fuel additive or engine cleaner work or not. Let's see inside the engine. I drove the car through normal city conditions until the tank was nearly empty. Now I need to make something crystal clear here. I let the fuel run extremely low for this test. But do not do this yourself. Before your fuel light comes on, you should refuel immediately. Running your tank empty can damage your fuel pump because fuel actually cools and lubricates the pump components. Another crucial point, do not overfill your gas tank as well. It causes some serious problem for your car's evap system. So let's see what actually happened inside these cylinders. Looking at the cylinder number 1, I have to be completely honest with you. The carbon deposits are essentially unchanged. Let me show you the before and after images. If I'm being generous, there might be a slightly less rot in the center of the piston, but it's so minimal that it could be just lighting differences or camera angle. The thick carbon layers around the edges, completely untouched. The surface carbon buildup, still there. These thick baked on carbon deposits that have been building up for thousands of kilometers or miles remain exactly as they were before treatment. Moving to cylinder number 2, the story is the same. Again, comparing the before and after photos, we see minimal to no changes in carbon deposits. The piston might have a slightly lighter or more orange or brown color in some areas, and perhaps some of the thinnest surface carbon layers have been reduced. But we are talking about incredibly minor changes that have no practical impact on engine performance. The major carbon buildup that actually affects combustion efficiency and compression remains completely intact. Move on to cylinder number 3, which started with less carbon buildup, shows the same disappointing results. This small amount of surface deposit might be slightly reduced, but again, we are talking about changes so minor they're barely detectable. The cylinder wall damage we discussed earlier is obviously unchanged. Fuel additives can't repair mechanical damage, but even the carbon deposits that should theoretically be cleanable remain largely untouched. These results are just to my eyes. If you see anything that I missed, please comment it below and share it with others. Let me give you my completely honest assessment. These fuel additives had virtually no noticeable effect on carbon deposits in any of these 3 cylinders. But before you think this is just one bad product, let me explain why most fuel additives struggle with real-world carbon deposits. First, concentration problem or dilution. When you add 1 bottle of additive to 35 plus liters or about 10 gallons of fuel, you're dramatically diluting the cleaning chemicals. The concentration that reaches the carbon deposit is much lower than what would be needed for effective cleaning. Second, contact time issue. During combustion, the fuel mixture is in contact with carbon deposit for milliseconds. Compare this to soaking a dirty part in solvent for hours. There is simply not enough time for chemical breakdown of stubborn deposits. Third, temperature limitation. While combustion temperatures are high, they may not be sustained long enough or be hot enough to break down carbon that has been literally baked onto metal surfaces for years. Fourth, chemical formulation. This particular additive didn't contain PEA or polyetheramine, which is considered one of the more effective carbon cleaning agents. Different formulations have different capabilities, but even the best ones face the same fundamental limitations. Think about it this way. Professional engine cleaning involves removing parts, soaking them in powerful solvents, and often mechanical scrubbing. We are expecting a small amount of additive mixed with gasoline to accomplish the same thing while the engine is running. Obviously, the results would be totally different. So while the fuel additive disappointed, I used this opportunity to perform maintenance that actually makes a difference. Let me show you what really works for engine performance and longevity. Number 1. Throttle body cleaning. I cleaned the throttle body, which was genuinely dirty and hadn't been serviced. Look at this difference. This is the kind of cleaning that actually impacts performance. A dirty throttle body directly affects airflow and idle quality. Number 2. MAF sensor service. I also cleaned the mass airflow sensor with proper MAF cleaner spray. This sensor measures the amount of air entering the engine, and contamination here directly affects fuel mixture calculations and engine performance. Number 3. Air filter replacement. The air filter was overdue for replacement. A clean air filter is essential for proper combustion and engine protection. This is basic maintenance that costs very little but makes a real difference. Number 4. PCV valve service. I cleaned the PCV valve. That's positive crankcase ventilation, which recycles unburned gases back into the engine. This system helps reduce emissions and prevents pressure buildup in the crankcase. The old valve was quite dirty, and I've ordered a replacement because cleaning didn't restore it completely. Number 5. Oil and filter change. Most importantly, I changed the engine oil and filter. Given what we saw with the cylinder wall damage in the cylinder 3, fresh synthetic oil with proper viscosity and additives is crucial for preventing further damage. Number 6. Oxygen sensor replacement. I also replaced one of the oxygen sensors. These sensors monitor exhaust gases and help the engine computer optimize fuel mixture. A failing oxygen sensor can hurt fuel economy and emissions. This one is so difficult to remove due to corrosion, and I only replaced the accessible upper sensor. And last but not least, I changed the spark plug for each cylinder to complete this part of maintenance. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure that you will enjoy these 2 videos as well. If I miss anything, please drop a comment below. If I deliver something of value, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, and I will catch you up in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.